it's Elizabeth Wales. I hope you are having a wonderful day. I'm a mom, I'm a health educator, I'm an athlete and a trainer, but most importantly, through struggles of my own, I have found solutions that I'm excited to share with you. I'm Elizabeth Wales, and I also tell myself stories. And I bet that you do too. I tell myself stories that if I lift weights, and I make sure that I keep challenging the muscle groups that I'm trying to build, I'm going to get stronger. I also tell myself the story that if I do not challenge the muscle group that I'm trying to build, then I'm not going to get stronger, I'm going to become weaker. Here's a story for you. If you stand with your feet about hip width apart, soft knee, grab something a little bit heavy, maybe 10 pounds to start with, and then you're going to bring it slow and controlled from side to side. This is going to help strengthen your core, and it targets your obliques as well. Make sure you're going slow and controlled from side to side. Do you believe that story? How about this one? If you add some extra weight to your squat, now you have some more resistance, that this is going to help your legs and your glutes become stronger than if you were to do a squat without weight. We all believe stories, and we all tell ourselves stories to help us navigate life and make sense of life. And I want to talk to you today about the stories that we tell ourselves. I also tell myself the story that if I use my amazing product lines, AMPS products, this is going to help my body with repair and recovery to achieve more health and fitness goals. And this is a story I believe because of my own results and the results of so many people that I know. But let's talk about some of the stories that we want to avoid. So I'm going to be referring to Brené Brown's book, Rising Strong. This is a book that has been so powerful in my life. I was just seeing in a Facebook memory that last year I was talking about Brené Brown's book, Gifts of Imperfection, which Debbie Beebe recommended to me last year. Thank you, beautiful. Brené Brown is an amazing thought leader. She's also a licensed master social worker, professor, lecturer, author, and podcast host. So if you haven't checked out some of her works, I highly recommend them. She talks about in Rising Strong how to help us overcome things in life that could really knock us down. And I'm going to share with you a few excerpts from her book, as well as an amazing story from one of my friends and teammates, Alvy Shepard, former pro ball player. So this is what Brené Brown says. When we deny our stories and disengage from tough emotions, they don't go away. Instead, they own us and define us. So right now, what kind of story is happening in your life? The first thing we need to do is recognize that denying the story that's taking place is going to do us no good. The first step is to acknowledge the story that is happening in our lives. She wrote this book, she says, because at the heart of this book is about the dangerous stories we make up when in the midst of struggle. When we are in a fall, we are neurobiologically hardwired to make sense of that fall, to make sense of our hurt as fast as we can. We can come up with a story that makes sense to our brain, and it chemically rewards us for this, whether it is accurate or not. And our stories really need to be tested. So you all have your own painful story experiences. For me, the most painful thing that happened in my life is when the love of my life, the father of my child and my husband for 7 years, abandoned my son and I when I found out he had another life. And let me tell you, for me, there were so many stories that my brain tried to come up with to make sense of that pain. I wasn't good enough. We got married too early, and lots of people helped us with these stories. You know, maybe he should have been a bad boy before you got married, and things like this. And most importantly, there were a lot of stories of why even try? When you have some kind of pain in your life, when you really try to do well, that is a really dangerous story. And a lot of people have all different kinds of behavior when this happens that's outside of their character because they're trying to go through this pain and their story has become really negative. Why try? It's downhill from here. And this is amazing because we can rewrite these stories and correct them. And Alvy Shepherd has the perfect story to illustrate this. Alvy Shepherd, my friend, my teammate, an IsaBody Challenge winner, Spirit of Isogenics winner as well in 2019. I got to see him go up on stage and receive this amazing reward for his transformation and his walking out of good stories, the positive stories that he chose to believe about himself. Now, although I know his story personally, I am going to read his story from an interview, and this is an interview by Mike Babcock and HaleUniversity.com to respect how Alvy would prefer his story to be told. So, if you are in baseball, you're going to appreciate this story even more because this story does give you a few baseball stats. But either way, this is an amazing story about transformation. And like Brene Brown says, not believing a conspiracy theory that our brains come up with. She says, what do we call a story that's based on limited real data and imagined data and blended into a coherent, emotionally satisfying version of reality? A conspiracy theory. So don't believe your conspiracy theories about your life. If they are not serving you to grow and become the best version of yourself, throw them out, guys, because there's something better for you when you change the script, as we'll see in Alvy's story right now. So it says, Darren Ernstead was the first player selected in 1995 Major League Baseball draft. Alvy Shepherd was the 21st. Both were Nebraska juniors and both signed. You know Ernsted's story, but Shepherd's? He was drafted by the Baltimore Orioles, though because of the effects of the players' strike that cut short in 1994 season, the delay the start of the 1995 didn't start playing until 1996. So Alvy started playing for the Baltimore Orioles in 1996. 2 days after what he called his best professional performance, a team photographer retrieved a ball from one of the teammates and threw it. Except that it hit Shepherd in the back on his right shoulder. The next day, the shoulder was so stiff, Shepherd had to cut short a bullpen session, and the day after that, the shoulder locked up. So, enough so that Shepherd met with the doctor. He had to shut down, and there would be no call-up. His promising career went in a downward spiral. He rehabbed, came back, was released by the Orioles, and picked up by the Angels. He underwent surgery and tried to battle back, but his fastball no longer topped out at 98 or even close. The Angels released him, and the Mets picked him up, only to release him near the end of the spring training in 2000. From there, Shepherd's life spiraled downward, 13 years worth with alcohol and drugs, pain and depression, to such a degree that he considered suicide. And of course, when we believe the conspiracy theories that we make up in our own head, when we believe those stories that this is the end, it's not going to get better, that this is a downward spiral, or that you have disappointed everyone, including your parents, then ultimately that does make us feel like we have so little worth that it makes us want to end our lives. And I know so many of you have been there. We have to change our stories. At the bottom of the slope, Shepherd began to pray, and his prayers were answered. Answered? He suffered a brain aneurysm and nearly died. But he says this, when I woke up after I had surgery, I looked up and said, thank you. This is exactly what I needed to get my life back in order. And just like that, Alvy Shepherd's story changed and he flipped his script. He left the hospital with a positive attitude. He eliminated the drugs and alcohol, began eating healthy and working out, and with the help of the complete nutrition system that I love, that I coach with, he lost over 40 pounds and began to believe in himself again. Here he is in his amazing physical condition. I didn't show you this picture. This is him in the hospital. Now that's a transformation. In the hospital, and here he is receiving our grand prize of the IsaBody Challenge, $25,000. Yes, he was a winner. He also won the Spirit of Isogenics Award. He's here on stage with his family, and here he is next to a big giant picture of him for the IsaBody Challenge. Way to go, Alvy. And he shares this. He shares, you have to believe and have faith. Before anything, number one is to believe in yourself. And he shows in his story how he was able to flip his script, believe in himself, turn his life around. And not only did he have an amazing physical transformation, guys, but now he uses the nutrition system, the one that I use, and he partners with this health and wellness company that I also have partnered with to share with other people. And Alvy Shepherd and I both have the opportunity to work from home and help other people work from home too. And I know right now is a hard time for so many people as the economy has taken a turn. So if you or someone you know is looking for an opportunity to make a difference in the world, to help yourself, to help your friends, and to make an income from home, message me or the person who shared this video with you. We would love to answer your questions and help you get started. We open wholesale accounts and do coaching, guys. They'll answer your questions, no big deal. So to conclude, Brene says, rising strong changes not only you, but also the people around you. To bear witness to the human potential for transformation through vulnerability, courage, and tenacity can either be a clarion call for more daring or a painful mirror for those of us stuck in the aftermath of the fall, unwilling or unable to own our own stories. So, in the most painful time in my life, when I was just freshly abandoned wife and mother, I heard stories and I knew stories of other women who had been abandoned. Unfortunately, I am not the only one, and so many of you know this because we've connected through this. And sometimes the stories were a painful mirror when I was unable to own my story. When I first was abandoned, I was like, no one's gonna know. I couldn't own it. I was in denial. And I recognized that that was the last thing that was going to help me. And through amazing coaches, John is on here, hi John, and so many others, I've been able to own my story. And now it is empowering for me to hear other stories. And I hope that it's empowering for you too. Your experience can profoundly affect the people around you, whether you're aware of it or not. Franciscan friar Richard Rohr writes, you know after truly initiating experience that you are a bigger part of the whole. Life is not about you henceforward, but you are about life. And that is what Alvy has shown, and that is why we are trying to find other people to link arms with and help and change their stories if they are stuck in the negative story spiral, so that way we can all have more power and be more empowered to make a better world and bring solutions, guys. And that is what it's all about. So start with yourself. Start with your stories. What are the stories you're telling yourself? So many stories I hear are things like, I can't lose weight because I'm too hungry all the time. Or I can't get fit, I'm over 40. Oh guys, that's a conspiracy theory that you're believing in, if you believe that. People who are staying fit and getting strong, we aren't some kind of mutants. We are hungry too, but we've figured out how to give our body the nutrition it needs with consuming less calories. And this is nutrient-dense food, and this is really important for health and nutrition. And if you need some stories about people staying strong well into their 80s and beyond, message me. I love those stories. Okay, let me know if you have any questions. Please like, please share. If you're on YouTube, please subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day, guys, and a lifestyle to thrive. And bye-bye.